Commissioner Tony Ortiz, how we doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really good. It's a great day, especially now that I'm here with you guys.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, seriously, thank you so much for welcoming us here at City Hall in your office. This is awesome. We don't want to take much of your time, so get right into this.
Thank you, Nico.
I want to know about the beginning. Take me back. Where are you from?
How far? Oh, okay. How far back? Oh,
Way back.
I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm from the city of Morovis. I usually to make people kind of understand up here what that means is those people that know of Elvis Presley. He was born in Tupelo, Mississippi. It was a tiny town just like
All right.
in Puerto Rico. It's at the center of the island, and very hospitable, very loving. My father was a police officer. My mother was a librarian, so I had the best of both worlds: the academics and the discipline. And so very humble beginnings. You know, what is the salaries that my parents used to earn in those days? They weren't exactly, anything to brag about. But I grew up in a very tight family. Grew up, and then later on we moved to Bayamon. That's in the metropolitan area. Graduated from high school in Puerto Rico in Papa Juan 23. And then from there I decided I was going to go to Maya West, but I decided, no, let me go to the United States. I wanted to be a pilot back then, if you can believe that. And so I was aiming to go to Annapolis, and I got the what do you call it, assignment from Congress, but I applied too late. So I ended up going to Ohio State, and from Ohio State, I came down to Orlando. So my life has been a series of incidents that have never, what I planned never occurred in that fashion. I started wanting to be, like I said, a pilot. That didn't come to fruition. I became an accountant. So I worked in accounting for about 3 years. And I was moving. I wanted to work with the government because I saw some issues in the company. I thought there were downsides. And so I said, I was one of the newer guys. So I said, before I get fired, I better. So I went to look for a job at HRS back then. And while looking for that job, a gentleman there, his name by the name of Victor Alvarado, which I met at the elevator, he said, why don't you go to the police department? I said, I'm an accountant, I'm not a police officer. And he says, they have accounting in law enforcement. You can start, you can investigate white collar crime. So I ended up applying. I met Ray Rivera, who was a captain at the time, and he kind of brought me in, and I spent there about 14 years of my life. And then in my last 3 years, the commissioner that used to sit at the District 2 chair, Commissioner Betty T. Wyman, who was an splendid lady, she asked for me to come over and work with her as a liaison officer. So from there, she ended up asking me to run for a commissioner, which I thought it was crazy, but I did. I pray a lot for that one. I really pray a lot and seek guidance from the Lord. So here we've been for 18 years.
There we go.
So that's a brief summary of everything's been happening.
Beautiful. Commissioner, you enlisted in the Marines at 18 years old.
Yes.
You then served in the Gulf War, served as a police officer in Orlando for 14 years,
Yes.
and even served on the SWAT team.
Yes.
What was the scariest moment you had while on the job?
Wow. There's a number of scary moments, different occasions. But you know what? When you're doing the job, you're so tuned in. You don't think about how scary it is at the time. You think about it when you're reflecting later on, when you go home and you say, dear Lord, that was scary, But at the time, you don't think of that. You're so focused. And I guess that's part of the training you receive on what the mission is. So you just accomplish a mission. It's just like when you're going to give a speech. You memorize, you think about it, you reflect on the speech so you can be as natural as possible. And after the fact, you say, wow, that was something else. So I think one of the toughest moments we had was when there was a gentleman that was taken hostage. I mean, a family that was taken hostage in Paramore, further down, and the gentleman was not letting go. And one of our SWAT guys, Scotty Perkins, ended up going in, and he they were able to subdue the assailant. And we had moments like that. While I was in the SWAT team, we were also in the drug unit, so we had some scary moments there too. When we had to do some entries, some warrants, but because you are with a team that you trust so much, you trust your life to them, and I'm pretty sure they trust their life to you too. It's a lot easier to work, and to accomplish the mission. So anything that really stands out like that, I think the Persian Gulf was more, scarier because we didn't know where one of those bombs were going to drop at any given point in time. And it sounded every time they dropped one of those 25,000-pound bombs, it was the ground would shake. And dealing with bringing prisoners back that from Kuwait that you didn't know, and came to find out a lot of those guys over there have been forced to serve Iraq, and a lot of them were students here in the United States. So it was one of those crazy experiences, but it does add a lot to your repertoire, to your history, and makes you be a lot more conscious about life and humanity.
So during that period of your life, is there any lessons that still stick with you today?
Yes, camaraderie, teamwork. You depend on other people depend on you. Organization, you need to be organized. You need to make sure that you don't leave anybody behind. It's all about the detail. And that's exactly what we bring to the table here too, is making sure that everything is covered, and that you organize, that you get everybody involved, that you work as a team in anything you do.
So how did you get into politics? Like, what was the one thing that made you say, I'm gonna go from serving my community as a cop to now serving as a political leader?
So interesting, because I never had, like I said before, I never thought about becoming a commissioner. I worked with a wonderful commissioner that taught me she was a university on its own. And then towards the end of her career, she said that she was not gonna run anymore. And I said, okay, so we need to find somebody who can do the job that has a passion for this, because you really have to have the passion for this. And she smiled, and she let me go and find some people that I thought could be good prospects. At the end, she said, let's have dinner at my house. And I came over and she said, I have the right person for this. And I said, well, let me know so I can talk to that person. She says, you. I said, Commissioner, I don't know what kind of drugs are you taking, but so I said, this is not, he said, you're the right person. You have the accounting background, you have the people's background, you have the service background, you have the heart for this, you know the community. I said, let me pray about this, because I was going to take a huge cut also. So I pray, and you know what? I don't know, I don't care how much less they pay. This is the best job I ever had. Serving the people at the capacity that I'm doing. You deal with everybody. You deal with the person who is wealthy, you deal with the poor, you get to deal with the issues of the community in such a way. You oversee, you protect your police officers, you protect the firefighters, make sure that when there's no funding, we find the funding. And it's, as I said, the satisfaction that you take home every day, seeing people being able to have a full day, those people that may not have a meal, you've been able to provide some way, somehow, the people that are looking for housing, especially with the crisis we have right now, being able to come up with programs and be part of a team here at City Hall of commissioners and the mayor, that they're also focused on the same issues. All of us being able to attain things for our community is the most wonderful experience you will ever find.
Absolutely. You just talked a lot about you giving, but I feel like not a lot of people might know about the sacrifices it takes, right, as being a commissioner. So could you give us an idea of like what some of the sacrifices?
Well, they say that when you find a work or job that you like, you don't have to work a day of your life, right? So if we take it from that standpoint, the sacrifice is, you can look at it from outside and say, well, that's a great sacrifice, but I enjoy what I do. So to me, it's not a sacrifice. It's really an honor and a privilege to work with our community. But interestingly, is you have to be on the move 24/7, 365. So you can get a call at any given point in time. Like for example, I don't like to use this particular example, but polls. We get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, so everybody mobilize and start looking to make sure that we can get to the place and start thinking what's going to happen next. And with the police, with the firefighters, the mayor, our commission, the community, how they've been affected, the businesses around this particular place, because now everybody has to be shut down in order to do an investigation. So, but when you love what you do, is like I said before, it's no real sacrifice. sacrifice from the standpoint of what you give in terms of your life, but it's not really as a human being. I feel that I'm doing what I love, and I enjoy every second of it.
You've been very instrumental in leading projects here in Orlando, but your influence goes far beyond these borders. Can you share with us and tell us a little bit more about the projects you've done in other countries for the Latino people?
So I had the privilege of traveling to other countries, to Brazil, to Colombia, to Ecuador, to Costa Rica, to Puerto Rico, to Dominican Republic. And it's always trying to, we work with our firefighters. We take the bulk gear, to other countries. The one that we kind of, I don't want to call it get rid of, but the uniform, not the uniform, but the gear that they use to fight fires. We have a system here that every 5 years you replace a set of bunker gear. So that bunker gear is still in great conditions, because how many fires, I mean, if you think about it, we have throughout the year. So we take that gear to other countries. There's countries that they have nothing. Some of them had gears that is 20, 25 years old. So when they get a gear that is only 5 or 7 years old, that's almost like getting a brand new car. So we do that. In addition to that, we have been taking a lot of academics, in a sense of sharing the knowledge that we know about government, taking it to other countries, to Brazil, to Colombia, to Puerto Rico, to Dominican Republic. We go on missions to teach. And we also go on missions they look for our advice in different developments that they have. So we're more than happy to go and help them with that.
You've done a lot of projects. What's your most memorable project, if you had to say?
When we talk about projects, I think the greatest projects is seeing a family, especially a family with kids, getting into a house, getting into a place that they're going to be calling home. During the Obama presidency, at the beginning, we had that crisis with the housing industry, and a program came about. And I remember going to the mayor and asking the mayor to see if he could allocate more funding for my district, to see if we can put more funding into the district, because we have a lot of people out there suffering and being evicted and a lot. So we were able to do that, and he was great. He helped me tremendously, and we were able to get people into homes. And to this date, we're still helping different people with the programs that we have with the housing programs, either rehabilitation or down payment assistance. And when you see a family, when you see those smiles, especially on the kids, they start playing around, running around, because they know that's a new castle. Nothing tops that up, nothing. I mean, it's amazing. In addition to that, there's been times also we help people, conducting people to other agencies to help them with the utility bills and that sort of things. The rest of it is what I call the everyday issues, is, the infrastructure, dealing with our seniors. Our seniors is one of my pet peeves. Right now, we've been working with seniors and kids, especially with the crisis that we had in terms of kids under 5, a lot of drowning, number one issue, on death of children under 5. We've been having different projects all around the city. But it pleased me to say that we're about to, one of our swimming pools, I have 2 swimming pools, community swimming pools in my district. So there was one that had water heater, the other one doesn't. So we are installing a water heater, and we're gonna we're coming up with programs for our seniors for cardio, but we also gonna continue to have these kids from the elementary schools and teaching them how to swim at an early age. So that's a big one for us too. So.
Wow. There's a lot there. Wow.
Baseball fields is another one. I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, as we're talking, we have Azalea Park, literally, we had like 5 baseball fields over there that belong to for the longest time, they belonged to the school board. And we fought and fought and fought. We wanted those to come to the city so we can go ahead and maintain them and continue helping our community, especially with sports. So this year, we finally acquired those. So that was a big project we had for almost 15, 16 years. So.
What do you think could be the biggest game changer for the city of Orlando right now?
What I find, which is a common issue all around the nation, is the lack of understanding government. If we understood government, I think it would be a lot easier for us to pick people that would really represent us. We, as I said before, we have people in Congress, we have people at the state level that have no experience of local government whatsoever, or some sort of public service. So and if you, in addition to that, don't come back and consult with the local officials, those who are on a daily basis working with the people, or consult with the people themselves, how are you going to legislate based on the needs of our community? And I think that is what is getting our nation into trouble, because we don't have that perspective. The people don't know enough to understand how important that is, and also understanding how government works, how a housing department, permitting department, how a planning department, or any of the issues that have to do with our everyday circumstances, how they work. So empowering people with that knowledge is very important. 12 years ago, we started a government academy, and it's called just like so, Government Academy. And 2 years ago, we had it, we got UCF to accredit it. So now it's part of the continued education program that UCF has. It's at no cost to the people that take the academy. And when they graduate with a great diploma and 2 credit hours from UCF for continued education. We have educated many people, and we have been able to implement that knowledge, pass that knowledge to them. And they, at the end of the academy, this is a kind of feedback I get. Where has this been all along? How come we're not teaching the rest of the people about this? Because it helps you also not only understanding local politics and state politics and federal politics, but and every aspect, the judicial system, the property appraiser, tax collector, every aspect of government. But it also helps us determine how can we elect somebody, because we can ask questions now because we know about government. How can we determine who is a good candidate to represent us? And keeping in mind that those who are elected are representatives of the people, are not dictators. It seems sometimes that get lost in that term. So that's overall. Now, issues that we have is affordability. This crisis that we have right now, people can hardly, I mean, for 4 or 5 items, you go to a supermarket and you spend over $100. Housing has become incredibly expensive. Anything, gas, everything has become so expensive. So affordability. And of course, in order for us to be able to attain, to be able to deal with that, we have to get better jobs that pay better, so we can go ahead and deal with that part of the issue. But in addition to that, we also have to by understanding government, we can then talk to our representatives at all levels and convey the message in a way that will leave with those representatives a notion that these guys are going to be watching me, so I better get serious about this and try to bring those, to try to make things more affordable. One of the issues we have, and it's no secret to anybody, is insurance. Insurance for your house, insurance for your car. It has become to a point where people, and prescription drugs, it's almost how you pay for these things in this day and age. It's really hard. There's people that have homes, but they don't have insurance for their homes. They drive a vehicle, and sometimes if it's paid for, it's easier for them to manage, but they don't have insurance for their car. And all this presents a clear and present issue, problem for not only themselves in case they get into trouble, but also for the rest of the citizens or residents of the state or whatever you live. So we need to get more, as I said before, it all departs from knowledge, from empowering people with knowledge in order for us to move forward.
You mentioned quite a bit of issues there, and you said some solutions as well. Any other thoughts, though, on what we can continue to do as a city to tackle some of the issues?
By all means, I think we need to, is my vision, we have to organize the whole city. In my district, we have neighborhood leaders and business leaders, and we meet with them my neighborhood leaders, I meet with them every other month. So I get feedback from my community in terms of what kind of needs they have. So I'm always on the run, trying to be proactive about everything. At the same time, if I'm doing something, if I'm going to be legislating on something, they can give me feedback. I get that from the community, because it's about the communities. Government is about the community, it's about the people. So I can go to the dais and legislate secure what, that my people are going to be well served. But we need to have that in the city as a whole. Make sure that every resident has a voice. All people, all voices, have a voice. And the way we do this is we have to organize our community, we have to empower them, and we have to then deliver, this in whatever the issues that we are dealing with.
Absolutely. What can the residents of the city of Orlando and District 2 more specifically expect from Commissioner Ortiz over the next few years?
Well, I'll be, in the next, I guess, year, I will be leaving my position as a commissioner. By then, I have almost 20 years of serving the community in this capacity. And then I'm going to go ahead and run for mayor of the city of Orlando. That's the next step and hopefully what we have done, I think people, at least people in my district and those who have seen me from other districts and regional capacity, they know what I'm about. I'm about service, I'm about commitment, I'm about a one-on-one relationship with my constituency. I drink a lot of coffee because I visit a lot of people and have coffee with other homes. But that direct relationship, where they can call me Tony, they don't have to call me commissioner or whatever whatever the title may be, is very important for my community and for anybody that is participating in government, because not only attracts the developing interest and attracts people to be more involved in government, but also they feel confident that either a solution or a direct path to the solution is going to be found by that person who's representing them. And on this day and age, especially with all the controversy, with all the division that we have in our nation, that's very important to our people.
You had to boil it down to one reason. What's the main reason you're looking to run for mayor?
I serve all my life. That's what I know how to do best. And when I look around, we need people to be united. We need people to participate in government. I know how to bring the people to participate. I know how to unite people. I know to organize our communities. But more than that, I'm a person that I do things, to me, and the way I do government is with the people. I consult with the people. I just don't impose on the people. Well, no. I go to my people and I ask what kind of needs we have. And that's how government should be. The founding fathers, those were the premises of government. And going back to John Locke and all these philosophers from back in the days, Charles Lewis II, and all these great people that were had so much influence on our founding fathers here. Thomas Jefferson, as you see, Thomas Jefferson, later on Lincoln. I mean, the founding father of John Smith, Washington, all these guys that were involved, Benjamin Franklin. They knew that government was about the people. They understood that. And if you look at our Constitution, it's very inclusive. Some way, somehow, we're not following the Constitution as it should be. And I think our people in our city are more prone to follow. We have been shielded in a way with all these issues going on around the nation. I feel we're shielded, and I think it has to do with people understanding that we need to cooperate with each other. And our city of Orlando needs to progress in that same fashion, continue in that same fashion. Mayor Dyer has done a superb job taking this city to a whole new level. I know how to take it to the next step, and that's what I think the people will be looking for.
We're excited for you to take that role, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Forward to celebrate with you. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave the people of Orlando with?
As long as the people are well informed, you can trust them with your government. And that's deep.
We're trying to get them all informed, right? We're kind of working on that.
And people don't see how important that is. That people think that the big issues are housing, and they are. Housing, transportation, is affordability, all those different things. By all means, they're big issues. But the biggest issue is people not understanding how they can obtain, how they can get all these things, how we can solve this all together. And that's because then you have people, bickering and fighting about things. But if people were all tuned in the same aspects and they understood how things work, we'll be way more advanced than what we are. So, but there is those issues, affordability, and with affordability comes the issues of housing, transportation, all these other needs that we have.
Commissioner Tony Ortiz, with that, I just want to say thank you so much. This was awesome, and look forward to celebrating with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just keep praying so the Lord listens to you.